He's an all-around great guy, but his day job is a cardiologist with SSM Health, SLU Hospital, and SLU Care. Good morning, Dr. Michael Lim.
Good morning.
All right, so there's a new study out talking about antibiotics, the greatest achievement in modern medicine.
With quotations around greatest achievement.
Why is that?
Well, so there's good and bad in antibiotics, right? So before there was penicillin, which actually wasn't that long ago, a lot of infections basically ended up killing a lot of people. So antibiotics were designed and created to treat bacterial infections, be able to rid the body of those bacteria, thereby the person can survive that infection, live a long and happy life.
It really was a technological breakthrough, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
It was a leap forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Discovered purely by accident of growing mold in petri dishes.
Did they really put cheese in a?
Well, it's moldy.
Yeah.
You know, they developed mold, and that was the idea behind the penicillin.
But how did they take the mold and say, you know what, that might be a good medication?
Well, because the mold was actually getting rid of certain bacteria and sicknesses, and so there's an association. So there's an accident, and then there's an observation by somebody smart enough to say, well, maybe this actually has a use.
Gotcha.
A similar concept to how many of the things that we enjoy now, not just in medicine.
Yeah.
But, you know, fast forward a little bit in modern times now, really there's an overuse of antibiotics. And in doing so, and prescribing antibiotics for infections which are not necessarily bacterial caused, because most infections are actually caused by viruses. So the first point would be an antibiotic can't do anything to a virus. That's not the mechanism, and that's not how it works.
Right.
So when you take an antibiotic for a viral infection, you rid the body of bacteria that are susceptible to that antibiotic, whether it's causing an infection or not, because there's bacteria in our body. Sorry to all the germaphobes out there, but and many of those bacteria are actually good for us.
Right.
And so in our gut, there's what we call a normal gut flora. Those are antibiotics. Those are bugs, and they help us.
Right.
It's called a symbiotic relationship. We're happy, they're happy, we're happier together.
Kind of like Kelly Jackson and myself.
It's absolutely like Kelly Jackson and your symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
You guys make each other happier. When you kill the good bacteria, or you kill bacteria that are susceptible, then you select out bacteria which are more resistant. And so in doing so time and time and time, you can actually select super resistant bacteria to now be predominant. And this concern with respect to many bacteria which are seriously resistant to our current antibiotics is a real thing.
So the study says that this is causing, this is really bad, and it's causing for these superbugs. Now, let me ask you this question, doctor. I can't go into a store and buy penicillin and/or antibiotics. It
Correct.
has to be prescribed to me by one of your fellow doctors.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So is it our fault, or is it the medical profession's fault for this being overprescribed?
Yes. So think about you or your family members or your friends when you get sick. You get a cold.
Right.
And you got a cough and you feel like garbage, and you go to your doctor. And your doctor now examines you, weighs the odds. We can't tell whether something's a bacterial infection just by examining you. We can tell you're infected, and we know you feel bad. The likelihood is it's a virus, and the doctor says, well, you know, McGraw, this is a viral respiratory infection. This is going to take 10 or 12 days for you to totally get over. You need to make sure that you drink a lot of water, and we're going to treat the symptoms. And so you're going to take ibuprofen or something like that regularly because everything hurts, and we're going to give you a cough medicine, and we're going to give you this thing called guafenicin, which is thins your mucus, so it's not a problem. And you're going to be better.
Right.
And you're going to leave the office, and you're going to be upset. Where's my prescription for my antibiotic?
Right.
And then you get home and you rate that doctor on ratemydoctor.com, which I just made up, but it probably is true. 1 star. This guy's terrible. Worst doctor ever.
Yeah.
Now, and so that's why both parties are at play here.
Right.
And so there has to be an understanding of when antibiotics are best applied, but there also has to be an understanding by the patient that when the doctor makes that determination, there's reasons behind it.
Yeah. So I go into the doctor and I'm stuffed up. I got mucus. I'm coughing with my chest. They'll give me something to sort of break up the chest mucus.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that?
guafenicin stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's not an antibiotic.
The name brand for one of them is Mucinex. That's
Okay.
not an antibiotic. That's that thins the secretions or thins that out instead of the really thick globs. It makes it a little thinner, so it's easier to get rid of.
Right.
And what are those Z-Packs? Is that an
So
antibiotic?
Z-Pak is an antibiotic. It's a zithromycin. So any mycin, so erythromycin, azithromycin, those types of things, those are antibiotics. And the superbugs that we're worried about, we have them galore in the hospital. So now we have what's called methicillin-resistant Staph aureus, or MRSA. You've heard about this sometimes in athletes. So this predominates in locker rooms and things because it can be spread. That means that the normal Staphylococcus, which is a pretty common bacteria, isn't responsive to the easy way to treat it. And the MRSA can colonize people and become really bad. VRE, or vancomycin-resistant enterococcus, is also another really bad bug. These things, when people have, are really hard to take care of and really prolong hospital stays and potentially actually cost patients their lives.
Yeah. Actually, the Rams had a major problem with that.
They did.
Yeah,
They
for
did.
years. I
And
mean,
they
it was a national story.
They had to clean the turf with the bleach and go through the locker room and all that because it's easy to spread. And then you colonize MRSA from me to Kelly and Kelly to you, and then when you get a cut, now all of a sudden the bacteria get in that cut, and now that's a really hard to treat bug. And so this is the concern.
Yeah. They say between 2000 and 2015, consumption of antibiotics globally rose 65%.
It's pretty high, huh?
Yeah. And in 2000, they were saying, hey, we've got a problem.
Right. The other part of the problem is the development of antibiotics. So can we stay ahead of the curve? One way to deal with this is, well, we're using a lot more antibiotics. There have been a couple good things. We talked about people living longer because bacterial infections don't kill us. But a heart issue, rheumatic heart disease, is a disease that affects the valves of the heart, which is post a bacterial infection. And if you treat that bacterial infection with antibiotics right up front during childhood, you don't get that rheumatic disease and you don't get the valve disease later on. So there are some good things that have happened on this. And so you'd say, wow, if we can just stay ahead of the curve from the antibiotics, if we can keep developing antibiotics to be able to
kill the
treat
superbugs.
these superbugs, we're going to be good. The problem is our development of antibiotics has slowed tremendously over the last 50 years. And
Because it's harder to find new stuff, or we're getting to the...
there's no money in it. Medicine development is a business proposition, and so there's very little money into designing and developing these types of treatments.
And the
So-
superbugs can change, right? I mean,
Superbugs change and morph. They have genetic mutations that make them resistant to X or Y or Z, and all of a sudden now they can start thriving and multiplying and disseminating.
Yeah. There
So
you
you
go.
wonder why I use wipes wherever I go.
Well, that's not good either.
I
That doesn't
know,
kill. That
but
doesn't
in
kill the
my-
superbugs
but
either.
in my
Why
head,
don't you start eating the wipes? That'll. I mean, that's not.
in my head, it helps me.
Doctor, when are you 50?
When am I 50?
Yes.
In a few months.
Yeah. Have you gone to
Oh my
your
God, you look
50-year-old
fantastic.
checkup yet?
No,
Yeah.
I still have 5 months.
Because last year you said.
I got on you, right?
You got on me.
So this is
And
what
this
comes
is
around,
me
goes
getting
around.
on you.
Thank you.
Because I'm going for my 50th, April 5th.
Oh, so
Opening day.
Okay. Oh, open celebration.
But you're 51.
Well,
Better late than never.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
so do I have the same window? that
No,
you
no,
do?
no, no. I'm nicer to you than you are to me, clearly. So you've got 5 months to go. But colon cancer, right? It's the
Absolutely.
most preventable cancer out there.
Well, it's very close, and it absolutely is something that needs to happen.
Right.
There's no doubt.
Yeah. So April 5th. And I promised that I would talk about it on the radio. So,
Yeah.
And I have been forced to by friends and people who love me and who don't like me, and people who like me who don't love me, have told me to go and get this done or else.
Is that kind of like that quote about the known knowns and the unknown?
People who
knowns
love me
and the
but
known
don't like
unknowns?
me have told me that I have to go do this.
Okay.
But I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have gone unless I was
Yeah.
Really
I was forced to go.
prompted to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So that's why I'm talking about it on the air. And even a doctor, right? You're a little hesitant to go, and you have to be pushed in that
Well,
He
direction.
didn't say he was hesitant.
No,
he's
and
not 50 yet.
I don't think it's something that anybody actually screams up and down and says, "Yay, please! This is really what I want.
Yes.
I want a colonoscopy, and I'm not leaving your office till I get one right now."
And I want two.
I'm
Buy
missing,
one, get one free.
I'm missing where that line is, but
Yeah.
but they are important. They do provide us significant benefit.
Yeah, there you go. Dr. Michael M., cardiologist of SSM Health and SLU Hospital and